Are VPNs illegal in China? Can you be arrested for using a VPN in China? Wow, let's find out. Hey everyone, I'm Surant in China. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel today, and I hope you're having a great day. Today is a bit of a rainy and wet day here, so I've decided to stay inside and tackle a topic that I've gotten from quite a few of you about whether it is illegal or can you be arrested for using a VPN in China? Well, let's find out. If you're looking for a VPN service before you come to China, or if you're already in China, or if you even just want to get some security and safety on your internet connections when you're out roaming around in public, take a look in the description below. I've got a link to a great VPN service that I'm using right now that not only works in China, but is available in China and payable in China, called SimpleLink. It's really, really cool. I enjoyed a lot. Their support is fantastic. They're very, very helpful, and it's very inexpensive. And hey, if you follow my link, it's even a little bit cheaper. First and foremost, what is a VPN? A lot of people seem to think that a VPN is a dark web tool used by hackers to commit crimes online, to download pornography, or to download other illegal content like BitTorrents. But that's not its intended purpose. Even though I suppose you could use it for that, I wouldn't recommend it. So what is the actual intended purpose of a VPN? Well, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. What this means is, instead of connecting directly from your computer to the internet or to your company or corporate services, you connect first to a highly secure computer or service, and then from there connect to the internet or your company. This allows for highly secure and encrypted connections, which is very, very useful if, for example, you're in a coffee shop and using their public Wi-Fi to access banking information or entering sensitive passwords. Hackers can use sophisticated tools to steal this information. Or if you're connecting to a work server, whether you're working for a corporation, the government, or the military, your company may insist that remote workers connect through a VPN to provide additional security for important or confidential information. As there are many, many more remote workers these days after the lockdowns for COVID, this has become extra important. Using encryption, often 256-bit AES or higher, protects the data being sent and received. Now, aside from security, another great use of VPNs is geolocation service. Geolocation simply means you can connect to a VPN service in a different country and then have access to services only available in that country. For example, this is much more important now that streaming services have become so popular and widely used. Now, if you're an American customer of Netflix and Hulu, and you're traveling abroad or working in another country, you could lose complete access to your streaming services, even though you're still paying for them. However, with a VPN connected through an American server, Netflix and Hulu would think you were sitting in America, and therefore you would have full access. Cool, right? But not only that, if you wanted to watch sports, news, live television broadcasts, things like that on the internet, for example, BBC One Live Television, which is free if you're in England, you could set your VPN to London, England. Or if you wanted to watch CBC News in Canada or live hockey games, you could set your VPN to Toronto, Canada, and it would be like you were actually sitting in that country. How cool is that? And that's one of the things that I use the VPN for in China, is to connect to a Canadian server so I can access YouTube to watch and make videos for you. So why do I need a VPN in China? Well, in 2010, China implemented the Great Firewall of China, which simply put controls access to internet websites and social media. Whereas many of you would believe this is due to overreaching censorship and suppression, there is much more to it than that. It was done in an effort to actively screen and block anything considered to be critical of the Chinese Communist Party, politically sensitive, or detrimental to social stability. And this is the one a lot of people miss. This includes racist, pornographic, and violent material, not just anti-government. However, Google and other companies prided themselves on absolute freedom of information and refused to work with the Chinese government on their goals. But is absolute freedom of information necessarily a good thing? You can do a search on Google for how to make a 3D printed gun and sneak it past airport security, and Google will give you that information. But is that good information to share? You can also search Google for hateful, pornographic, and violent materials, and you will get access to that information. But is that something you want your kids to be able to access? The Chinese government did not and does not think so. And I tend to agree. Even social media sites these days have degenerated into sites that are harming people and children. For example, since Elon Musk bought Twitter and removed all the checks and balances and all the restrictions on content, creating a haven for free speech, racism, hate speech, and hardcore pornography are incredibly common and do not require a blue check mark, a monthly subscription, or any type of age verification to access. If you want proof, go to Twitter and search for something disgusting. You will find it. But even innocent seeming sites like YouTube, with very, very strict guidelines and monitoring, are being used to distribute pornography, which is accessible to kids. The creators are tricking the YouTube system by labeling their content as educational or product reviews, when it in fact is fully naked men and women in sexual situations using the platform to make money. If you don't believe me, simply search YouTube for self bikini wax tutorial. Believe me, you're going to be surprised at what you find. Or you can search for see-through haul try-on, nude yoga, etc., etc. These are not educational materials. These are the kinds of materials you would expect to find on Pornhub or other triple X rated pornographic websites, not YouTube. And as these channels are listed as educational, they are also available to children. Unlike pornographic websites, YouTube doesn't show up in the censorship for schools and businesses. It's not listed as NSFW, not safe for work, and therefore kids and employees behind their company's own firewalls can access pornographic materials on YouTube and other sources. That is not cool. So that's why China chose to block those sites. It's not just the anti-government information that they don't want to be seen. It's also the violent, hateful, and pornographic information, which is available on websites you wouldn't expect it. So, is it illegal to use a VPN in China? No, it is. Now, there is a story right now of a young man who used a VPN in China to commit corporate espionage and fraud. This is true. He was arrested, fined, and charged for his crimes. However, he was not charged for using the VPN, as a lot of the anti-China websites and sources out there would have you believe. He was charged instead for stealing and selling corporate information. The VPN was just a tool to access that information. It was not the crime. VPNs are actually commonly used in China by foreign businesses. As mentioned before, many companies require their employees to use VPN services to connect to their servers for the safety and security of the data, especially when they are working remotely. This is very common and a recognized use of the technology all around the world, not just in China. And personal VPN services are not only not illegal in China, but Chinese companies actually make VPN software as well. Use of a tool does not make it illegal. Use of a tool for illegal activities is illegal. So China does block access to many overseas VPN providers, but it's not illegal to use the VPN services. The access is blocked to stop children from easily accessing those services. So if a kid in China wants to use a VPN service, they would have to get a VPN service from a local Chinese source, which would require either a government-issued ID or a recognized payment system, which would be traceable and would stop most kids from being able to get access to that technology. In the same way we stop kids back home from smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, driving cars, or any other activities which could be harmful. So long story short, having and using a VPN service is not illegal in any way, shape, or form in China. There are many, many free and paid VPN services available inside and outside of China, and you will not be arrested for using them. However, if you're looking to commit crimes while using a VPN, that's another story altogether, and I would highly recommend against it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this information useful, and if you have any questions at all about VPN services or about any of the information I talked about today, please feel free to hit me up in the comments below. And as mentioned, there is a link below to a VPN service which not only works great in China, but is available from within China and can even be paid for within China if you're already here through Alipay or WeChat. So it's a very, very convenient way to regain access to a lot of those sites and services that you didn't have before. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me on the video today. I will see you in the next video.